sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
Let me know when you're ready.
No matter what the technical difficulty is, this man is a professional. He goes all the way.
What you represent to them is freedom.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This
will allow me to retort. Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver of Common Sense show. 8 p.m. on shrmedia.com.
Actually, I just totally screwed up. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense show. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com. Click on the chat room button. Join the conversation. If you want to watch a broadcast, that's perfect. Go to Reaver.one. Click on the live stream. And if you like the live stream, click on subscribe. Now, if you want to support the show, if you want to support SHR Media, go to Reaver.one/shop. You can get a lot of great t-shirts, and here is one of the new ones. If you're watching a live broadcast, here's one of the brand new ones. It is the Second Amendment. There we go. T-shirts. I had to make one for myself this weekend. So, just go to Reaver.one/shop to take a look through the t-shirts, see what you think. And while you're there, pick yourself up one. Got Fox News on as usual. Then I'll flip over to C-SPAN in a few minutes. The only reason I have it on Fox News, just not that I trust them more. They piss me off less. But just in case there's any breaking news, any I know the chief, Dallas Police Chief, is going to speak soon, so I'm waiting on that. Right now, they have a replay of one of the civilians wounded in the Dallas attack. Just giving her account, and 2 officers got shot. One right before she got shot, and the only thing the officer thought to do was yell at her, he's got a gun, and to run as he was falling to the ground. That was his, that's how racist he was. He just thought about telling her to get running, to get to safety, as he was shot and going down. Then when cops were running towards the gunfire and she was on the ground on top of her son, when they found out she was shot, one cop jumped on top of her, and this is her account. How you doing, Kel? One cop jumped on top of her, which was on top of her son, to protect her and shield her. Another was at her feet, and another at the head, and there was another one standing there who ended up getting shot and fell to the ground. 2 cops. Actually, if you really think about it, it's like 5, 6 cops that were more worried about her than their own life. But yes, cops are racist. I could see your point there. They would rather, run away from the gunfire. It just pisses me off. These officers were at a rally that was protesting police. These people thought the cops were so bad that when the gunfire rang out, they went running behind the cops, running to the cops for protection. And the cops stood there and did their job without question. I guess they're not that bad after all. And we've seen all weekend more cops got hurt during these protests. These BLM protests, and they're not protests. These are planned attacks out to cause chaos and disturb regular life. It just, I'm not going to give them too much credence and too much of the show time because it's not worth it. The cops are worth it, but the BLM is not worth it. They are becoming nothing more than a terrorist organization. They're out to start trouble, and Obama is their ringleader. He has not spoken out against any of their actions. The multitude of arrests of BLM members, from leadership all the way down, from trafficking humans to attempted murder and everything in between. They're getting ready for that news conference. And it just pisses me off when I hear about how this country is so racist. But then Obama says we're not divided. Whatever the American people say, he says directly the opposite. It does not matter what it is. He's got to go in the opposite direction everybody is talking about. First it was from him, we're divided, there's all this racism. Now it's we're not divided because everybody's going, shit, we are a divided country, and this person has divided us. And he has sat there and congratulated the BLM from day one all the way up until... Even when he was speaking about the shooting of the Dallas police officers, he spoke highly of BLM. I don't know. I don't know what this man is thinking, or if he is thinking. I know there's 1,001 different theories, but trying to put your finger on just one... still trying to wake up. So in another 4 months, roughly, we find out who our next president's going to be, whether this country starts to take a turn around and get better, or if we keep going down a disgusting path. And then, what is it? Roughly 5 months before we install our new president. And it's going to be a long, long 5 months. It's... And I don't understand why these people think it's smart. Okay? To protest, fine. That's your right. Go protest. But you're blocking highways. You're endangering people. And you're pretty much ticking off the common day man that you need behind you. So it's... I don't understand why you think it's smart to block highways. Why do you want to tick off the people, the base of America that you need? And what's going to happen when they run out onto these highways at one of these times and someone accidentally runs these little SOBs over and kills one of them? It's not the driver's fault that you're going and running onto major highways. But sure as I know my name is Jersey Joe, that person, whoever's driving that car, will be attacked if they stop. And if they don't, they'll be lambasted as a murderer and a racist because a bunch of people want to go play on a highway. I don't know what possesses these people. And now you have 21 officers have been injured in Baton Rouge. I don't know. The Democrats are they are out in droves to destroy this country. And right now I have not seen a good Democrat. A Democrat that I'd be willing to say as a human they're decent. And I'm talking politicians, not supporters. Because I do know friends that are, I don't know why, but they're backing Democrats. And the British PM minister will be stepping aside Wednesday. And was it Theresa May to become UK Prime Minister on Wednesday? Hey! Ding dong, stepping down even earlier than everybody had talked about. Good. Maybe Britain can start to get its sovereignty back and start the process of getting away from that monstrosity called the European Union. I don't know. It is. Some polls that have come out recently, by the way, are showing Hillary Clinton is going down in flames right now. And I don't think these protests are helping her. If anything, they're helping Trump because it's ticking off middle America. That and the email situation did not help her. ABC, out of all places, did a poll. And 93% of the Democrats said she should have been indicted. 93% Democrats said she should have been indicted. That is bad. And I mean, it's a good thing because that shows me the people are actually paying attention and just not being zombies. So I'm glad to see it. I'm shocked to see it, but glad to see it. Islamic State is now being accused of using female terrorists more and more, which is something that a lot of our military personnel have said. Female terrorists are far more involved in ISIS than has previously been thought or often escape detention as they play critical but less visible behind-the-scenes role, new research has claimed. Despite the figures most commonly associated with the terror organization being male, thousands of women are the glue holding the organization together. Researchers at the University of Miami have found the study, Women's Connectivity in Extreme Networks, has been pushed in the journal Science Advances and involved research analyzing data from 40,000 suspected terrorists. Hey, you know the old saying, behind every great jihadist is a woman pushing him to strap a bomb on. Hopefully everybody got the joke of that with the old saying, behind every great successful businessman is a woman. Yeah. All right, that was a bad joke. Using a software system, the team identified 24,883 men and 16,931 women whose online behavior indicated they played a role in ISIS. They monitored the Russian social media site a lot of alpha, a lot of consonants and only a couple vowels in that name, which is less restrictive on removing contested social media use than other social media sites such as Facebook. Analysts found that although men dominated the groups numerically, women have the most effective communication and link segments of the groups to increase cohesion. Muslim women love their sheheads who are sons who commit jihad. I'm so proud little Johnny went and blew himself up. 9 months. 9 months of labor. I don't understand it. I don't. It just makes me laugh at that point. Little Johnny. I remember when he used to play with his bomb vest. He'd run into the little fort and say boom. Critics say president's comments heighten mistrust between officers and minorities. Oh, my God. That one's just too obvious to touch on. Well, the UN is demanding America give up its guns. Well, UN, I want you to go take a poop in one hand and demand in the other. See which one comes through first. The United Nations Human Rights Chief called on the United States Tuesday to enforce more effective gun control measures in the aftermath of the Orlando terrorist attack, dismissing as irresponsible pro-gun propaganda the notion that firearms make society safer. Yeah, this is also the same group that has that gave, I think it was Iran, an award for its humanitarian efforts. I think they have also someone that's high-ranking on that committee is from a country that has the worst human rights records. So, you know what? I'm not going to listen to the UN human rights chief talk anything. I want to laugh about it, but it's at the same time scary. Because, you know, you got idiots, and I got it this weekend, and it made me laugh. So, here in Florida, in the Tampa area, some idiot broke into a house, held the husband at knife point to open up the couple's safe. There was a gun in there. The owner grabbed the gun, shot the burglar, didn't kill him right away. There was a struggle from there, and the older person ended up getting shot also. And both the burglar and the husband passed away. The wife ran out of the house, I think she got shot in the arm. She's fine. Now, some idiot sat there and ran his mouth. Hang on, let me pull this up because it just... I could not believe his stupidity. This guy's stupidity. All right, here it is. The guy put, no one would have been shot if there weren't a gun. The police would have caught the guy. They are better than you think. A little bit of money and a few belongings aren't worth 2 deaths and an elderly woman who was shot and is now alone. And after being pointed out that this guy brought in a knife, he did not bring in a weapon. Hang on, police chief speaking. I want to patch this in.
On the make and model of the robot that we use to carry a device to detonate that ended the standoff. And I'm going to start with that. So the robot is a Remotec, R-E-M-O-T-E-C, Andros, A-N-D-R-O-S, Mark 5-A1. And that Mark 5 is Roman numeral 5, so Mark V-A1. We purchased the robot in 2008 at a cost of approximately $151,000. There's partial damage to the extension arm of the robot, but it is still functional if we had to use it for other operations. An update on our investigation of the shootings. Our detectives are continuing to download body camera footage from the officers at the scene. There's over 170 hours of body camera video to download, and that is ongoing. Detectives are also collecting all dash cam video. So that's the video mounted on the squad cars that also recorded some of the incident. So detectives will be reviewing all videos from surrounding businesses as well. And that's also countless hours of video. Our plans are to date and time stamp the entire incident with all video footage available so that we can see from the beginning as much as we can real-time action as it happened. Just an update on the injuries and deaths, just to make sure we have clear clarification. 5 officers were killed. 9 officers were wounded as a result of gunfire or fragmentation of bullets. Of the 9 officers wounded, 4 were Dallas police officers, 3 were DART officers, and 2 were Dallas County Community College Police Department officers there at El Centro. That brings the total number of officers, one of the DART officers that was wounded fired their weapon. So, according to our investigative notes now, that brings the total number of officers who used force against the suspect to 13. 13 used force against the suspect. Of that 13, 11 officers used their firearms and 2 officers used an explosive device against the suspect. Detectives are reviewing over 300 statements to determine which witnesses and officers need to be brought back for further interviews. Our detectives have also found some officers that were at the scene have not given statements yet. This has been confirmed through our preliminary review of body camera video. So these officers will be identified and brought in to give statements to us.
All right, I'll keep up to date on that. If there's anything important, I'll bring it to you. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media, High Plains Pundit Radio, ICRN Network, and Red Nation Rising Radio Network, plus YouTube and iTunes. We will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Now, at Brownells, we know you may have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. We know how much you love to shoot, so our Gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. And we also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
My name is Chris Peranto, call sign Tonto. I was with the Global Response Staff. We were the security element for the Central Intelligence Agency in Benghazi, Libya on 9/11/2012. Myself and my team responded to an attack that killed Ambassador Chris Stevens, Sean Smith, and two of my teammates, Tyrone Woods and Glenn Doherty. Radical Islam is basically terrorism in a nutshell. It wants to not only put down Western values, it wants to kill anybody that supports those Western values, which is freedom, which is Christianity, and which is also anything that looks poorly on Sharia law. We've allowed it again to grow into something that it shouldn't be, and it's becoming stronger and stronger every day that we don't lead from the front. Obama and Hillary, by avoiding the phrase radical Islam, they're being politically correct. They don't see it for what it is, and that's straight up destroying the Western world. Radical Islam doesn't have a fear. They will give up their lives. They will detonate themselves. They will do anything they can to fulfill Sharia law and kill the infidels. If we're not able to even say radical Islam, the word radical Islam, there's no way we can fight it. There's no way we can defeat it. The United States of America doesn't lead from behind. We are always setting the example. If not, we're going to see terrorism get bigger and bigger, and eventually it's just going to be continual lone wolf attacks in the United States. And I don't want that to happen to my kids. I don't want to see my family go through that. Please join me in waking up Washington in this fight on radical Islam, seeing the threat that it really is. Sign up at leadingfromthefront.org.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cops are stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the Unpleasant Blind Guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the Reaver of Common Sense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense show. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com. Just click on the chat room button. Join the conversation. If you want to watch a broadcast, go to Reaver.one. Click on the live stream. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button to keep up to date. If you want to support the show and support SHR Media, go to Reaver.one/shop. That is REAVER.ONE/shop. Pick yourself up a t-shirt or coffee mug. So, a lot of information is being disseminated by the Dallas Police Chief at this time, and probably going to have to go over that, and I can give you updates either later on the show or possibly tomorrow. Tomorrow I do have a guest. I have Brian Mast is going to be on. He is running for the Florida's 18th District Congress seat. He is a veteran of the Afghan wars. He had lost both his legs, and he's a fighter. The guy is a fighter. It does not slow him down. He does everything he needs to do, and he doesn't like, from what I've seen and talked to, he doesn't like the state that we're in, and he feels he can do a better job than what's there, so he is stepping up to do the job himself. And that's what I love about our military. They, no matter what the challenge is, no matter what is in front of them, they will stand up and do the job that needs to be done. Well, I'll have him on. Should be right at 11 o'clock, start of the show, he'll be on. So, yeah, tomorrow, 11 a.m., Brian Mast will be on the show. So I was talking about the UN is demanding that America gives our guns up. I was given the instance of the dumbass the idiot that we had here in Florida. We got a lot of them. But saying that with that incident of a robber went into a house with a knife. He didn't take the knife with him to play patty cakes. He had the knife to do harm to this couple. And unfortunately, during the struggle, the husband was shot and ended up dying. So this guy thinks guns should be banned, and they're not helpful. They're not this. They're not that. Well, the guy's so dead set in his way, and he, as soon as you confronted this idiot, and not even nasty. I'm not nasty about it. I'm not. Well, number one, I pointed out about the incident with my father, and his response was, I need psychological help. I need all this grief counseling. I'm not upset about it. I'm pointing out, and I could see the logic in the fact that disarming Americans causes more violence. So, he had some choice words for me, insulting me, name-calling, all that, and he blocked me. which I find funny. The man is so righteous that instead of having the discussion that the left keeps saying they want to have, he blocks me. Like a little kid, and he was doing it to other people too, like a little kid who's not winning the argument and facts are getting in the way of his emotions. If anyone needs some counseling, these anti-gunners need counseling for this fear that they have. This fear of an inanimate object that's in everyday life, they have a fear of. I had one woman talk about how she doesn't want to go out. She don't want to leave her house anymore. She's so scared, but it's all of us that are sick. They've been ingrained, indoctrinating with this fear, and it's gotten to the point that some of these people can't even leave their house because of that indoctrination, and they're so, and I hate to put it this way, but they're so simple-minded that they can't even leave their houses because of it. And you guys, you had a gun, you're scared. No, I'm not scared. Well, you're the one that's talking about fear. I'm not talking about fear. I know that there's evil out there. There's people out to commit evil atrocities. And making it against the law has not stopped them. Not saying we shouldn't create laws, but you know what? Making murder illegal should have been enough by the left's own standards. By their standards that these laws are going to stop them, that making robbery, making murder illegal would have been more than enough laws to stop them. It hasn't. Criminals do not abide by laws. They don't listen to the laws. They don't follow the laws. That is what makes them a criminal. So you can make as many laws as you want. It is not going to stop them. And I'm out of coffee. But the UN is demanding that we give up our guns. Well, I am demanding the U.S. tell the UN to take its demand, shine it up real nice, for them to bend over and stick that demand right up where the sun don't shine. But the UN Human Rights Commissioner urged that the U.S. government to live up to its obligation to protect citizens from the horrifying, commonplace, but preventable violent attacks that are the direct result of insufficient gun control. And this is what ticks me off, pisses me off. See, this is why I think I'd have trouble on an FCC regulated platform, because this is where it makes me lose my mind. Record low gun violence. Record low. We are not in the top 10 of the most violent nations. Nowhere near it. Until you start to cherry pick which nations you want to talk about. Well, if you do it that way, I can make us the safest country. If I cherry pick the information. We are not the most violent. We are at a record low of gun violence. Record low. As states are overturning all this gun control and making everybody safer. The ability to protect yourself. Here in Hillsborough County, Florida, it has taken me for an active burglary on my house. What was it, 40 minutes for law enforcement to get here? I had someone peeking in my daughter. At the time, she was under 10 years old. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. This guy was peeking in her window. Hour and 40 minutes for law enforcement to get here. And I'm supposed to be unarmed and wait for police. I don't think so. And that slap happy idiot, tree hugger, wait for police. They're better. They're better than you think. None of us said that the cops were bad. None of us said that. But the amount of crime that they actually solve is very low because, well, it's not often they have enough information to solve those crimes. Heck, the guy that shot my father is still on the loose. It's not even an active investigation anymore from Hamilton Township, New Jersey Police Department. It's not an active. They don't care. They're not nobody's investigating that. One man was murdered and another attempted murder, and nobody's investigating that anymore. It's 30 years later. But I hear how we should let the rely on the cops. I'm very pro-police, but most of the time the cops are there to clean up the issue after it's happened. They can't be there before every incident and stop. People need to stop relying on everybody else. I'm not going to put my hands in the lives and put my life in the hands of police. I'll take that responsibility myself to defend myself. This is not a knock on the law enforcement. Law enforcement cannot be everywhere at all times. It's an impossibility. I'll take my own responsibility of protecting myself and protecting my family. That is part of the job as a father, is to protect your family, not to push that responsibility onto somebody else. So the UN sitting there, for example, many countries clearly show that a legal framework to control the acquisition and use of firearms has led to a dramatic reduce in violent crime, which is an absolute lie. In a lot of these countries, the violent crimes have skyrocketed. And they cherry-pick their information, the UN. And if they want to... And these are people that are surrounded by armed security. Their armed security is surrounding these people. So, yes, they don't care about the safety of others because they think everybody is protected. They got armed security. Shouldn't everybody? No, it don't work that way. And I get tired of hearing. And then they're bringing up the Omar Mateen killed 49 people early Sunday morning at a gay nightclub in Orlando in a terrorist attack that quickly stoked the fresh debate about gun control. Even this shooting in Dallas. Friday. Okay, Thursday the shooting happened. Friday morning, Democrats were in front of the cameras mandating gun control. What's funny is they were mandating an assault ban because they heard this man had an assault rifle. All the reports I'm reading, he was using a 60-year-old SKS rifle. An outdated obsolete rifle. It's not the weapon, it is the man behind the weapon. The UN can kiss off, they can kiss my white, hairy ass. They're pushing to disarm us. The UN has become an organization that's not out for the best of the world. They're out to control the world now. They're not the organization that was started. They're out to control the world. They want to be the government that rules everybody. And what I hope Trump gets in, and one of his first act is he tells the UN to pack up and get the blank out of the United States. We pay the majority of the bills for the UN. Get out. Go fund yourself. The UN is turning into an evil enterprise. It's the best way I could put it. And they just have no problem lying, these people do. And the UN chief challenged the thinking behind the view. Irresponsible pro-gun propaganda suggests that firearms make society safer when all evidence points to the contrary. As gun control laws are going away, gun violence is going down. As gun ownership has gone up, gun violence has gone down. You tell me how that is propaganda, how the evidence points to the contrary. Evidence is showing as gun ownership has skyrocketed, our gun violence has gone down. The UN needs to take their nose and stick it up their own backside and stay the heck out of the U.S. involvement. Because they're pushing this propaganda and this bullshit. I see I'm not lasting that long on the no cussing. They need to take that view, and they need to take their opinions and stay the hell out of the U.S.'s business. They need to pack up and get the hell out of the United States. This free ride. They're not a terrorist organization yet, but they are not an organization with any good intentions. They have shown that they'll lie, cheat, and steal to get what they want, to prove their lies. They'll do anything. They've been pushing this global warming issue. They're one of the major forces behind it anymore. Well, I've talked about it, shown. Yeah, it is propaganda that they're pushing. It is lies. This jackass cited a recent report from his office on the question of human rights and civilian access to firearm. Its conclusions include a call for governments to regulate the acquisition and possession of firearms. Human rights law requires member states to protect people from harmful private activity and to adopt appropriate regulatory and institutional framework. None of that is said in our Constitution. None of that is stated in the Declaration. It is in direct violation of our Constitution. And they're instructing, demanding, we go against that. Well, he wants us to rally around a common cause. Well, I got a common cause for us to rally around. The removal of the UN, for us to leave the UN immediately, and for them to be evicted from the United States ASAP. That is what we need to rally around. The eviction of the UN from the United States. Let's rally around that. Let's rally around removing this evil organization that is now out for the destruction of our Constitution, is out to destroy the American way. It is no better than any of the organizations in the past and history that have tried to take over countries, that has tried to dominate countries, that has tried to rule countries. That is what the UN is trying to do. And we need to rally around as citizens and evict the UN immediately. And for that, we need to vote one way. That is Trump. And people need to understand, you have to understand one thing. You have a choice. You go Hillary Clinton, and you end the Constitution as we know it. Because she has said all of our constitutional rights can and should be regulated. Not the second. All, she said. Or you could vote Trump, who has said repeatedly he is behind our Constitution, and we need to get back to that. He is for the betterment of the United States, and stop worrying about what's better for all these other countries. He is not for isolationists, that this administration has been trying to push that lie. He says no such thing. But if it is not a direct improvement on the United States, and they want us to get involved in stuff, then they need to start paying the bills, not the United States. That is what he's talking about. So you have a choice come November. Hillary Clinton, who's going to end our Constitution as we know it, or Trump, who's going to uphold our Constitution as we know it. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, ICRN Network, Red Nation Rising, YouTube, and iTunes. We will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Now, Brownells, we know you may have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. We know how much you love to shoot, so our gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. We also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
My name is Chris Peranto, call sign Tonto. I was with the Global Response Staff. We were the security element for the Central Intelligence Agency in Benghazi, Libya on 9/11/2012. Myself and my team responded to an attack that killed Ambassador Chris Stevens, Sean Smith, and two of my teammates, Tyrone Woods and Glenn Doherty. Radical Islam is basically terrorism in a nutshell. It wants to not only put down Western values, it wants to kill anybody that supports those Western values, which is freedom, which is Christianity, and which is also anything that looks poorly on Sharia law. We've allowed it again to grow into something that it shouldn't be, and it's becoming stronger and stronger every day that we don't lead from the front. Obama and Hillary, by avoiding the phrase radical Islam, they're being politically correct. They don't see it for what it is, and that's straight up destroying the Western world. Radical Islam doesn't have a fear. They will give up their lives. They will detonate themselves. They will do anything they can to fulfill Sharia law and kill the infidels. If we're not able to even say radical Islam, the word radical Islam, there's no way we can fight it. There's no way we can defeat it. The United States of America doesn't lead from behind. We are always setting the example. If not, we're going to see terrorism get bigger and bigger, and eventually it's just going to be continual lone wolf attacks in the United States. And I don't want that to happen to my kids. I don't want to see my family go through that. Please join me in waking up Washington in this fight on radical Islam, seeing the threat that it really is. Sign up at leadingfromthefront.org.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cop for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the Reaver of Common Sense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com. Just click on the chat room button. Join the conversation. If you want to watch a broadcast, perfect. Go to Reaver.one. Click on the live stream. While you're there watching it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave a comment. If you want to support the show and support SHR Media, go to Reaver.one/shop. Pick yourself up a t-shirt. We got some great Second Amendment t-shirts out there. Just waiting for... All right. Have to deal with some stuff later. Yeah, the UN's got to go. Hey, ho, ho. Where's a ho? Don't forget, tomorrow, 11 o'clock, we will have Brian Mast. Brian Mast, he is running for the 18th District of Congress for Florida. He is a Afghan veteran. And we will have him on tomorrow to discuss his run and other current events. Surprise, surprise, the Connecticut Obamacare co-op is going out of business. Connecticut's... Sorry, every time I hear that, like, hey, ho, ho. Where's a hoe? I need to do some yard work. I need a hoe. Connecticut's Obamacare health... You thought I was talking about a different hoe, didn't you? Health insurance co-op is being placed under state supervision because its status as financially unstable, leaving 40,000 individuals on the hunt for new insurance plans. Healthy CT, a nonprofit health insurance plan set up under President Barack Hussein Obama. Signature healthcare reform is one of 23 original Obamacare co-ops and the 14th to fail since they began selling their health insurance plans on the Obamacare exchange. So out of the original 23, 14 have failed. Oh, that is a great, great stat to have. Great stat. Over half of the Obamacare exchanges have failed. Wah, 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 wah. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Storm coming in on Obamacare. Looks like a little rough seas there going. Obamacare Exchange Access Health CT CEO Jim Wadley released a statement following the announcement from Connecticut Insurance Department Regulatory that Healthy CT would no longer be permitted to sell plans in Connecticut. I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing. This has been one of the biggest failures that our government has done. And they've had some big doozies. And I knew it wasn't going to work when all right, our government took over a whorehouse in Las Vegas. It owed back taxes, so it was going to run it until it got its back taxes and then turn the business back over. Our government ran a whorehouse into the ground. The place is self-advertising. It doesn't need a lot of work, and they ran it into the ground. That's how bad our government is. They ran a whorehouse into the ground, and they wanted to run our health. Oh, God. And people were gullible enough to go with it. You never give our government blanket control of this sort. You don't get a blank bill being pushed through. You wouldn't give someone a blank check and said, go ahead, I trust you, fill it out with what you only need. Bull. We have just learned from the Connecticut Insurance Department that insurance companies Healthy CT has been ordered to stop writing new policies in Connecticut effectively immediately. As a result, Access Health CT will no longer be selling healthcare coverage offered by Healthy CT on the exchange. We realize that this will cause some concern for customers who purchased a Healthy CT plan via Obamacare, and we are committed to making sure they receive the help they need to find new coverage. Healthy CT is committed to its customers and partners, and we will continue to support them, pay claims, and meet other financial obligations during the period of supervision. According to Hartford Courant, about 10% or 10,500 Connecticut residents with Obamacare policies will have to purchase new insurance plan by the end of the year as a result of Healthy CT's failure. All right, everybody raise your hand that thought Obamacare was going to be a big failure. Has it helped some people? Yes. Has it screwed up more people's insurance? Yes. Could have things been done differently to give people that didn't have insurance insurance? Yes. Let's see. We could have simply put the requirements, changed the requirements, and those that didn't have insurance would be eligible for Medicaid, where they would have had insurance. It wouldn't have screwed up everybody else's plans. And I'm just spitballing an idea here. I'm not saying it had to be that or that's the only idea. I'm just spitballing an idea. Because, yes, we are a country that should be compassionate about those in need. Not that we're a socialist country, but we are a country that should be able to help its fellow man that are down on hard times. Doesn't mean we should, pay for the rest of their life to live, but we can give helping hands. So I'm tired of hearing that argument. Just because you have social programs does not make it socialist. But we could have done things for those group that did not have insurance instead of flipping the whole insurance on its head and screwing it up for decades. This is going to take decades to fix. It's not just going to be one president to fix this. This is going to take decades to fix it, what Obama and the Democrats screwed up. They could have done so many different things that would have helped. But no, they wanted to totally destroy it because they admitted that they want to go to basically a Social Security, a one-payer health system. So they destroy our health care to get what they want. They don't give a shit about the people. They will put people's lives at risk. And these death panels that were talked about that Obamacare say would not be there, we're finding out they're there. I'm dumbfounded. And people still think this is a good idea. the cost of insurance has skyrocketed. The only ones that are making any money are the insurance companies. And another surprise that, I'm so shocked at this. Florida Representative and Congressional Black Caucus member indicted for fraud. I don't agree that they should put the Congressional Black Caucus member in the title. It doesn't matter what color they were. Democrats are getting nailed left, right, and center, which is surprising me. Especially when you have Hillary Clinton getting away with what she did. But Representative Corrine Brown has been indicted by a federal grand jury on a series of charges in connection with a fraudulent charity, reports reveal. The 69-year-old Democrat was indicted on charges of conspiracy, wire fraud, filing false tax returns, and other charges, according to the AP. Brown is currently looking to be reelected to maintain her 13-year career as Congresswoman for Florida's 5th and previously 3rd Congressional District. The indictment comes as a federal grand jury was called to review the One Door for Education Foundation Incorporated, which claimed to take donations to send underprivileged students to college, but instead allegedly funneled the cash into the pocket of Representative Brown and her associates. "50-year-old Ronnie Simmons, Brown's chief of staff since 1993, was also indicted in connection with the fraudulent charity. The charges come on the heels of an investigation into the head of the charity, Carla Willie, who was found to have deposited over $800,000 in funds to the charity, yet only gave out a slight single $1,000 scholarship in over 4 years. Officials charged Willie with transferring tens of thousands of dollars into her own account as well as accounts of others. In a statement, Assistant U.S. Attorney General Leslie Caldwell, chief of the Justice Department Criminal Division, said Brown seemed to have treated the charity as a personal slush fund. Congresswoman Brown and her chief of staff are alleged to have used the Congresswoman's official position to solicit over $800,000 in donation to a supposed charitable organization, only to use that organization as a personal slush fund, Caldwell wrote. Corruption erodes the public trust in our entire system of representative government. Investigators say up to $200,000 of the charity's cash was used to fund special events for Brown and her staff, including golf outing, luxury seating for concerts, NFL games, and other events. Further complicating matters, some of the events were also held under the auspice of the Congressional Woman's Congressional Office. Brown, who is listed as an honorable member of the Congressional Black Caucus, has had other brushes with law. Among other scrapes, in 1998, Brown was abolished by the FEC Commission for her campaign forgoing of the signatures of a campaign treasurer on reports. Forging of signatures. The campaign treasurer quit after discovering the fraud. Brown has also been accused of paying out thousands to her daughter and supplying federal contracts to her daughter's husband. She was also rebuked by the House in 2004 for calling the 2000 election George W. Bush a coup d'etat on the House floor. This is happening too often with the elected officials. Too often anymore. They talk about the American people. Obama will be in Dallas tomorrow to speak at the service. 300 people have been arrested this weekend in the protests around the country. Have you noticed anything? Remember who these idiots are that are running the country, these Democrats. They were the radicals and the hippies of the 60s. Look at the violence that happened in the 60s. Look familiar? Seems they're trying to recreate history again. Democrat Party is the Democrat Party is a joke. It is not out for the welfare of the country. They are trying to tear down this country, destroy this country, and push their own agendas for their own pockets. Well, as you guys know, I will not stand by. I will run my mouth every single day about this. I will not stop doing what I do. May change my methods a little bit, but I will not stop. I will keep going. I will keep fighting this. I will not sit back while this country is turned to hell. I'm not going to sit back and watch my daughter's future go up in smoke because politicians want to play games. I will not stand idly by. I will not sit idly by while we have a president who's sitting in Warsaw and makes it. U.S. President Barack Obama on Saturday sought to calm fears of a divided nation after 5 police officers were killed in Dallas during a protest against the shooting of black Americans. America is not as divided as some have suggested. There is anger, there is confusion, but there is unity. There is no unity because he has destroyed it. He has had us fighting each other. And now they have taken that fight to the street. And these incidents that they are propping up are full of holes. These people are not martyrs. The stats that they push are outright lies. There is more whites killed by police officers, but Black Lives Matter. And if I went out there and said white lives matter, I would be a racist. But no, there's no divide, Obama. No, there's no divide. You speak that you're a Trump supporter and violence is bestowed on you from the left. You speak how you try to say all lives matter and you have violence bestowed on you from the left. You say you're conservative and you have violence bestowed on you from the left. Yeah, there's no divide. There's no fighting. Obama and the Democrats are getting lambasted for this despicable acts that are going on. So he is going to go out there and be the liar in chief that he has been for the last 7.5 years and try to cover up this mess that he has created. And yes, I am blaming Obama for the current state of this country. He stirred the pot. He could be blamed for the cooking. You have Obama criticizing Texas open carry laws because the communist bastard doesn't like Americans being able to defend themselves. And defending ourselves just is not against criminals. It is not about target shooting. It is not about hunting alone. It is also keeping a government like the one we have at bay. Because if we were not armed, you better believe Obama wouldn't. He'd be worse than he already is. Let's just put it that way. He'd be pushing stuff for further control. I don't believe if we did not have guns that we could not counter the government. I don't think he would be leaving office January. That is why the Democrats fight so hard to take guns. Don't tell me, oh, they don't want to ban guns. We just want sensible gun control. But we want to ban assault rifles. We want to ban those nasty little semi-automatics. You don't even know what you're talking about when you talk about guns. You double talk. I don't want to ban guns, but I don't want you to have this type of gun and that type of gun. And at the same time, you don't even know what you're talking about. I don't want people having military-style weapons. That's not what the Second Amendment was written about. Actually, it was. The musket was an assault rifle of its time. That was the military weapon. So your argument is invalid because you don't know what you're talking about. And the AR-15, it came, military weapon. That is a civilian weapon. It was created civilian weapon and then turned into the M16. It was modified and became the M16, which became the M4 in other versions, so forth and so on. The AR-15 is a civilian weapon. It is used for hunting. It is used for target practicing. It is used for home defense. And yes, within the hunting realm, it's not always the perfect weapon. Neither is a 30-30 a perfect weapon. A 30-06 is not always a perfect weapon. It depends on what you are hunting for. Depends on what the weapon of choice is. So don't tell me that the AR-15 is not used for certain things when it is. You're talking about things you do not understand about, and that goes for politicians. They always talk about weapons, and they have no knowledge of what weapons are. And I'm tired of this administration. Every time it turns around, it wants to attack our Second Amendment rights. It is not about hunting alone. It is not about target practice or self-defense alone. It is about keeping a government at bay. This is the government our forefathers warned us about. This is the government that Thomas Paine wrote Common Sense about. This is the government that our forefathers stood up and fought against. In our documentations, we have clauses that allow us to take our country back over. Maybe it's time for us, the people, say to the government, it's our country, not yours. And kick all of them out of office and instill new representation. And with that, you're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media, High Plains Pundit Radio, ICRN Network, Red Nation Rising, YouTube, and iTunes. Don't forget to go to reaver.one/shop and pick up yourself a t-shirt. We will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Now, Brownells, we know you may have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. We know how much you love to shoot, so our gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. And we also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
My name is Chris Peranto, call sign Tonto. I was with the Global Response Staff. We were the security element for the Central Intelligence Agency in Benghazi, Libya on 9/11/2012. Myself and my team responded to an attack that killed Ambassador Chris Stevens, Sean Smith, and two of my teammates, Tyrone Woods and Glenn Doherty. Radical Islam is basically terrorism in a nutshell. It wants to not only put down Western values, it wants to kill anybody that supports those Western values, which is freedom, which is Christianity, and which is also anything that looks poorly on Sharia law. We've allowed it again to grow into something that it shouldn't be, and it's becoming stronger and stronger every day that we don't lead from the front. Obama and Hillary, by avoiding the phrase radical Islam, they're being politically correct. They don't see it for what it is, and that's straight up destroying the Western world. Radical Islam doesn't have a fear. They will give up their lives. They will detonate themselves. They will do anything they can to fulfill Sharia law and kill the infidels. If we're not able to even say radical Islam, the word radical Islam, there's no way we can fight it. There's no way we can defeat it. The United States of America doesn't lead from behind. We're always setting the example. If not, we're going to see terrorism get bigger and bigger, and eventually it's just going to be continual lone wolf attacks in the United States. And I don't want that to happen to my kids. I don't want to see my family go through that. Please join me in waking up Washington in this fight on radical Islam, seeing the threat that it really is. Sign up at leadingfromthefront.org.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cop for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the Reaver of Common Sense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense show. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and we are making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeovers here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Go to shrmedia.com. Just click on the chat room button. Join the conversation. If you want to support the show, you want to show off how proud you are about being a listener of the Reaver of Common Sense, go to Reaver.one. Sorry about that. Had a brain fart there. Go to Reaver.one/shop. That is REAVER.one/SHOP. Pick yourself up a Reaver of Common Sense t-shirt. One of the pro-gun t-shirts. Show that you are a proud owner and a proud supporter of your Second Amendment rights. Yes, I meant getting tongue-tied today. Show off how proud you are. Show the Black Lives Matter. Show the Democrats that you will not sit back and take their bullshit anymore. We need to stop sitting back and being silent. Maybe it's time we start counter-protesting their protest and attempt it in peace. Go there in peace, but counter-protest. Show the country what we really think about this. Show them that we support our police. Show them that we support the freedoms that our forefathers and so many men have laid down their lives for. As I was starting with, Obama criticized Texas open carry law and ties police safety to gun control. And with Obama going into Dallas for a memorial, they ought to tell him, no thank you. You haven't done anything to help with the safety of police. He stirred the pot prior to that incident happening in Dallas. He shot his mouth off. He shot his mouth off about the police. Maybe he was not direct cause of that guy's action, but his mouth did not help calm any issues. I don't see where there was men carrying guns, open carrying in that rally, and they were not an issue. So his assertion that the open carry made it harder for the police to do their job, no, it didn't. It did no such thing. There was no incidents. One man was falsely accused, but the man was smart. As soon as the shooting started, he realized what was going on. He went to an officer, turned his weapon in, and then turned himself into police later on when he found out he was a possible suspect. And he was cleared. There was no issue. But what Obama is trying to do and is pushing for, Hillary Clinton has talked about it, and it is a direct violation of our Constitution. I'm sorry for getting loud on. They want to create a federal police force. They want to do it local police, and they want a federal organization. And they want federal oversight of cops. They want to increase it even more. Well, do you know what we need? We need more oversight over our politicians. We need our politicians to be more transparent. Unlike this administration, which even CNN has gone after. Even MSNBC has gone after this administration and their claims of being transparent. Maybe we need our president to be more transparent about his actions and inactions than going after our police, which have a tough enough job already. Why? Because the Democrats, want a federal police force. They've talked about it. They've talked how they want to do it, and it is directly against what this country is set up for. That is why the FBI has a very limited role on how it conducts itself. They have tried to get them to be the police. It will not happen. Well, I don't want to say will not, because they are doing shit that they never should be doing, and they're pushing for the destruction of this American way of life. And it's sickening. It is absolutely sickening. Our government is set up for states to have power, states to control how they are run. But now they are blackmailed by their federal government. Even Hillary Clinton's going on. This past Friday, Hillary Clinton responded to the Dallas police ambush by pushing reform for police department and more gun control. That is the answer to everything with Democrats. More laws, more money, less freedoms. We have Democrats that are shooting their mouths off about 2 shootings, police shootings. Investigations aren't done. They have already condemned and have these police officers as guilty. They have the police officers from Baltimore as already guilty, even though they're being found innocent. They had Ferguson officer guilty, and he was found to be within the rules. And the problem is when they do stuff like this, it silences when an officer does do bad. Because there is officers that go over the line. I will not say that there isn't. But it's such a small percentage. And all these cases that are getting national attention, well, they are the worst examples that you could bring out there. And talking about gun control, they're twisting an ISIS attack into gun control. They're twisting an attack on police as gun control. Well, they have lost touch with reality big time. The Democrats are just... They have their agenda, and that's what they want to push. And that's what they'll continue to push. And they don't care what it is. They will continue to push their narrative And they've been pushing for years. Now, Dallas police is first in the nation to kill a suspect with a robot. Dallas police were the first law enforcement agency to have used a robot to kill a suspect on U.S. soil, according to robotics expert. Actually, something just popped in my head. You now have a Black Lives Matter, one of their leaders, and I forget her name. She says that the shooting of the police officer is staged. It is staged to destroy the Black Lives Matter credibility, which really I don't think they had any. She went on a tirade that just is a joke. Everybody, false flags and this and that. Is there a possibility we've had those issues in the past? Yes, but not. It's every time something happens, I hear how it's a false flag, false flag, false flag, false flag. How do you say? I'm not trying to take away. Is there false flags in this country? There's a good possibility. Yes, there is. But it gets overshadowed by every incident being labeled a false flag. And that would be a show within itself, going through all the different false flags and trying to pick apart which ones are which. But that would piss off too many people, because I'd be going against what some think are false flags. I mean, it goes to, you can't please all the people all the time. And she also tried to make the point, because supposedly with this using the robot to kill a suspect on U.S. soil, that there's not much left of the gentleman. Basically, a bomb was attached to the extended arm of the robot. It was brought into close proximity, and it was detonated. And it seemed to have done its job a little too well. Well, so now they're saying that's proof of it's a false flag, and this was done by our government because there was no one really there. It was the government that did it to discredit Black Lives Matter. Oh my God, really? Sorry, a little family joke. My daughter did it for a while. She would say something. She'd be like, "Really?" So now everything in my house will say something, be like, "Really, really, really, really." It's now looks like there's ties to Micah. Mr. Johnson, Xavier Johnson, the shooter. Seems there's ties to Islam now. Other I don't want to say terrorist, but extremist groups. And I don't know, just something. We're going to find out some information that comes down later on the pipe. That just something's not clicking. And I mean it within the, I don't think everything is at face values as we've seen so far. There's going to be some aha moment that is going to be released later on. Hate groups. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Kel. I wouldn't say these are terrorist groups. That word gets thrown around too often today. And I had gotten in a discussion with somebody that, yes, that word is used too often because it's desensitizing people. Everybody's hearing it. Hate terrorist, 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 terrorist. And it's kind of, just another terrorist group. All right. Yeah. But some of these they're not terrorist group. They're not out there doing bombings. They're not out there killing. But they're hate groups. They want to do some damage, but it's not the same. It's one of those things where kind of like a judge had said, I cannot tell you what porn is, but I know it when I see it. And that's kind of the difference between a hate group and a terrorist group. I can't exactly explain the difference, but I know it when I see it. And we're just using that word too much anymore. And I know it's not exactly true because, well, we'd be using some other words nonstop to lose its value. But we just use it so much. People are getting kind of desensitized to the issue. If you would have said terrorists in the 80s and 90s, it would have frozen people in their footsteps. Now people are kind of like, yeah. All right, another terrorist attack. Okay, time to go on. Nope. Another this. But it's... BLM is not a terrorist group. They are a hate group, in my opinion. Just the name itself is racist. And don't tell me it isn't. Don't tell me it's all lives matter, but then it would say all lives matter. And don't forget, you can go to reverb.1/shop and get your Pangean Lives Matter. And for those that don't understand, because I've had people go, what does this have to do with, what's that movie? The Mockingjay, Hunger Games. That's Pangea. No. It's not that country. That's not what we're talking about. When all the continents, South Africa, Europe, and all of them were all connected in the United States, the Americas were all connected into one continent, it was Pangea. So we're all the continents were one big continent at one time. So basically what that's saying is Pangea is a unifier. And we all are one people, and we got to stop thinking otherwise. And having Black Lives Matter, the Black Miss USA, and I can go on with the list. Well, we don't have white Miss USA. We don't have white scholarships. We don't have... Well, we do have white groups, but they're classified as racist hate groups. And that's what we have. We have to stop this BS. And we need to... And the left is not trying to be a unifier. Obama's doing exactly what he's been doing for 7.5 years and dividing us. Whether it's been racially dividing us or politically dividing us. Democrats are not the enemies. They're the opponents, not the enemy. And there is a big difference between the two terms. And we got to stop that mentality because we're all Americans. We may not agree on political philosophy. And it might piss me off about your misgivings and propaganda that you push, but you're still an American. The ones that really piss me off are the ones that are now trying to bash America. America was never great. Well, you know what? I could prove that America is and was great. You have the right to say stupid comments like that without the government coming after you. And right there says it all. Don't forget, tomorrow at 11 o'clock, I will have Brian Mass. He is running for Florida's 18th District congressional district. He is a Afghan vet of Afghan, and it would be pretty interesting. He is a Trump supporter, and he doesn't like what he sees going on, so he's stepping up. He has the ability to do it. He's stepping up, and he feels he could do a better job. And I have more trust in him than I do most other politicians. Paul Ryan's race right now is getting pretty interesting, too. You have Paul Nealon. I know I'm messing up his name, and I apologize. Well, Paul Ryan just built a wall around his house. This huge wall was built around his mansion to keep everybody away and out of sight. But yet Paul Ryan has been bashing Trump, saying that a wall on our southern border is racist. And Paul Ryan's not the first one. You have Mark Zuckerberg, the idiot he is. He bought up all the property around his house and has put up a huge wall, which has eyesore. He did it in Hawaii, which he's getting attacked for. It's okay for him to build walls. It's okay for Paul Ryan to build walls to protect their families. But we can't build a wall to protect our country. It's not racist. It's not anti-immigration. It's about protecting the country. To regulating who comes across into your country. It won't stop 100%. But it's a start. Same thing. You're not a racist for locking your door at night. You don't hate your neighbors when you lock your door at night. You lock your door because you love the people inside. You want to make sure that they're safe. That is what the wall is about. It's not about hate. It's about protection. It's about protecting the ones you love. And yes, we do on the north. It's not that I care if Canadians come into our country. They should be allowed to. We should be good neighbors, but we need to secure the border for the safety of Canada and the safety of the United States. We don't talk about that because right now it's not a major issue. That one's going to be hard to solve because there is a lot of land between the two. But we have to start somewhere. And right now the major flood is coming from the south. And as I said, as a protection from the north and the north from us, anything going on, there should be some kind of barrier. And just, I don't hate Mexico. I don't. But we are a country. We have borders. We need to control it. They don't allow us to go into their country illegally. We will not be treated very fairly if we go into Mexico illegally. We need to control the border. And I find it funny because Trump said that he would have Mexico pay for it. And Mexico has said that if Trump becomes president, they're closing the border. Hey, Trump called it. Trump called it. He said he would have that border closed. And now Mexico is talking about doing it for us. So, well, don't forget tomorrow, I have Brian Mast. He is running for the 18th District of Congress here in Florida. He'll be on at 11 o'clock. And I thank everybody. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for listening to my ramblings. It's an honor for me. Till tomorrow, have a great day. Don't forget, go to Reaver.1/shop and pick up your t-shirts. Listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.